You should read these books instead of getting involved in TikTok beef. Very quickly, on politics TikTok there's been beef going on, and I think that mostly stems from people in the comment sections not actually understanding the topics being spoken about and or not reading the material that's been mentioned. I have a relative presence on TikTok, 21,000 followers, not too bad. Hey, you know, maybe you can check me out over there, you can follow me over there. Also follow me here and subscribe on YouTube if you want more book videos. Anyway, so instead of fighting in the comment section about material you may not have read, here are books you can read that may have informed you more when it comes to this and may just avoid people having these sort of things happen online anymore. Number 1, Black Against Empire. This book is about the history of the Black Panthers. I've made a video about this book in the past and I've spoken about this book before, but basically it is a very good, very comprehensive history about the formation of the Black Panthers, the rise of the Black Panthers, and the decline of the Black Panthers. The Black Panther Party that was started by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale. Coincidentally, I think 3 days ago, October 15th, was actually the anniversary of the foundation of the Black Panther Party, and actually there is a Black Panther museum you can go to in the US, which is quite cool. So, read this if you want a comprehensive and a very good history about the Black Panthers and get more of an understanding about the Black Panthers if your only knowledge of the Black Panthers is, you know, hearing about them through media and stuff. So here's a suggestion. Secondly is Angela Davis's Freedom is a Constant Struggle. For some reason, Angela Davis became a big talking point in this beef as well. And like I said a few videos ago, I'm trying not to idolize people all too much because people are complex and people have varying opinions and different stances on things. But you could basically put any Angela Davis book in here. I want to put a Angela Davis book, so I put Freedom is a Constant Struggle. Very good read. You should check it out. And it's more of kind of like it's a slightly later work than some of the other works, so I thought maybe I'd put in a later work to sort of encompass like past things, but also kind of a more recent view and where Davis's stances are, if that makes sense. The third book is Game Changers. This book is about super PACs and their influence in US politics. Although the beef is about actually super PACs that work with the Democrats, this book mostly focuses on a group called Citizens United, which was a Republican super PAC that in 2010 had a lawsuit with the federal government, with the federal government in the Supreme Court, and basically the Supreme Court ruled that it is unconstitutional for the federal government to ban corporations and stuff getting involved in expenditure for elections. Basically, it is legal in the US for corporations and stuff to spend money to help influence elections, is kind of the thesis of all of this, and this book is about super PACs and their influence on US politics and US elections, and mostly concentrating on Citizens United, which is a Republican, more conservative PAC, although the beef that we were talking about earlier, and I'm not going to explain the beef because it's funnier to me if I don't explain it, that was more so about pro-Democrat super PACs trying to influence elections through influencers, and I'm not going to go any deeper than that, but interesting book about the role of money, especially if you're outside of the US. And like here in the UK, we have lobbyists, but the money that they spend is nowhere near as much as they do in the US. They still have influence, but also it's not as transparent, the influence, as it is in the US, where although, you know, it's an open secret that, you know, money wins elections in the US, at least you know about that open secret, whereas here it's like, oh yeah, there are lobbyists, but we never really discuss them very much here in the UK. And my fourth and final book, as I have you here, is Edward Said's Culture and Imperialism, because I always bang on about this book and how important it is. Basically, it's Edward Said talking to you about how culture is intertwined with imperialism and how through culture they influence our views on imperialism and our views on groups. An example Said talks about is that, I think he used the example of the 90s. During like the Gulf War era, Arabs became predominantly the bad guys in movies and film, especially coming out of Hollywood. This basically engraves the population with the idea that, oh my god, those Arabs are bad guys and they're evil, and it makes it far easier for the government and for those in charge to basically get away with killing Arabs en masse. We see this in the present day with Arabs being so dehumanized over the past 25, 30 years by the United States, by Hollywood, by media, that when we're seeing them being slaughtered en masse in Palestine, people are like, oh, it's just the Middle East and Arabs are violent people and this is what happens. Same thing happens in Africa. For decades and centuries, people in Africa have been described as these people who are almost less than, who, you know, are always fighting, who are always at war, and thus their mass slaughter and their enslavement in these mines is just part and parcel of the African experience. That's what we have been almost had drilled into us. He goes with older examples during the British Empire. Many of the books that were released during the British Empire, whether it was deliberately or not, basically tried to portray the empire as necessary or a good part of everyday life. Things like classical literature from like the Brontes or the Austens, even Charles Dickens, their books basically portrayed the empire as a positive thing in the long run for the English people, and thus the empire is better upheld, whether that was deliberate or not. Wow, that was actually a pretty good explanation of this book, because like I've spoken about it at least 5 times on this channel, and every time I struggled with an explanation, but that was a really good explanation of that book, so you should go and read that. So those are books you should read instead of engaging in TikTok beef. Check me out on TikTok and also on my politics YouTube channel. A lot of the content overlaps there, but on the politics YouTube channel, you will also get longer form videos, and on the TikTok page, you'll get videos that I won't actually upload to YouTube, so you can check those out too. Hey, if you like the content, you can like, subscribe, and share the video here with a friend or family member. Also, I didn't mention this in the beginning as I usually do, but if available, you can get all of these books on bookshop.org in the description down below. Bookshop.org is a company that works with local and independent booksellers to get them a little bit more of a kickback whenever you buy through bookshop.org. Alternatively, I always encourage you to go to your local library and pick up some books from there. If you've made it this part of the video, comment, this is a different white t-shirt, because I just realized I'm pretty sure I wore a white t-shirt in Wednesday's video. This is a different white t-shirt because I primarily just wear black and white because I find it very hard to make decisions, so I just bought black and white t-shirts. So don't come for me, I just wear a lot of white t-shirts, which is bad because I want a white background. I digress. Thank you for watching, and I hope you read a great book today. I know you want to be involved, young lady, but you can't read, so I don't know what we're gonna do here.